Welcome to the Left in the South podcast, episode 26. Back at you with another episode. We got a lot of fresh topics to talk about today. A lot. But before we get into that, of course, sub to our Patreon. And not only that, sub to our YouTube channel. Hit us a review on Apple Podcast. Jimmy Fallon, John Cena, just to mention a few names, already reviewed the podcast on there.
A true fan of Left in the South podcast means following the two hosts, Caleb and David, or else you're not a true fan. Oh, and subscribe to us on Patreon as well.
But with that out of the way, man, how you been doing?
I've been doing great, man. I heard that a great era is coming to an end right now. Our podcast is making a pilgrimage across the internet.
Yes. If you haven't heard already, by following us on Twitter, we've made the announcement that we are ending our friendship with SoundCloud. No longer will we be paying $16 a month to post our shit on there when we post all over the internet for absolutely free. And my reasoning was SoundCloud has nothing to support podcasters. They really only want to support musical artists, which good for them, but like for the features we were paying for, we didn't have access to them. We were completely denied, saying like, yeah, sorry, this feature isn't meant for podcasters. Fucking good luck.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no meaningful way for us to market our podcast on the website, so basically all of our views on SoundCloud are coming from other places anyway, so why are we paying to be on SoundCloud, so yeah, we're done. All my homies hate SoundCloud.
Hell
Actually,
yeah.
I like SoundCloud, but just not for
but
podcasts.
SoundCloud, if you want to come back with us, maybe we can work out a negotiation. We can get back on your platform, but for now we're not. But
yeah, we're gonna focus on YouTube, I think, mainly.
Yeah, but the good news is that we have $16 more to put right back into the podcast.
Exactly.
We've also gained a new patron, and I believe this is the first time we're doing this format where we announce the patrons actually towards the beginning. Yeah, so our patrons, I want to thank our patrons for pledging another month to us, redistributing their wealth. And we organize that wealth to spread the information, right? But those patrons, exactly. James, Payton, Timothy, and Grunt980, thank you for your pledge. And you're wondering, what do I even get from Patreon? We release stuff early access on Patreon, stuff that we don't even put out on anywhere else. You can only find it on Patreon. And we got some exclusive Left in the South ARG stuff on there. And recently, Caleb, you've been doing some solo dolo videos. I think we should also hit up on.
Yeah, man, I've been really enjoying it. I love doing stuff with you too, but sometimes I just get this idea and I'm like, fuck it, I gotta bang it out in a day. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I've been doing some solo videos. If you want to see them early, you can subscribe to us on Patreon, but they're always gonna be free on YouTube. So if you can't afford it, it's no big deal. I want you to watch the video anyway.
Yeah,
so
they're pretty good.
And I'm hoping that we can do some collaboration stuff as well. It's harder to work on videos together, so we'll have to figure it out. But I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I have an idea for something, but we'll keep that under wraps for now. But yeah,
for sure.
Patreon ad over.
Enough about us, man. What's been going on lately? It's been a hot minute since we talked.
After we record our podcast sessions, we have to go to our hyperbolic chamber to recharge.
I have a set amount of human interactions per month that I'm allowed by my doctor.
Yeah, that you're allotted.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But what's on the docket today? What's the first thing we're going to be talking about on this fine evening?
Some hot, fresh-ass news that dropped, I believe, 4 or 5 hours ago. So, Roger Stone is currently under fire for using a racial slur during his interview on the Mo Kelly show. And I think it's baffling to me that because so basically why he even used this racial slur was Mo Kelly was questioning him on on his thoughts about being bailed out by Daddy Trump basically.
Yeah, exactly. And but the question is, if you're Roger Stone, get in the mind of Roger Stone. I know that's terrifying to think about, but Like, what do you expect that this radio interview is gonna ask you about? Like, let's say that you and me invited, I don't know, fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy, and like it would be like if he got offended when we asked him about like his science shows that he made for kids. It's like, okay, relax, man. That's what you're known for. It's like Roger Stone. No one knows you other than the fact that you're a fucking felon who got arrested and the president pardoned you. You know, like that's the only thing anyone knows about you.
Yeah,
And
bro.
I think we have the clip here, so why don't we go ahead and play it?
That's my argument. No. I do believe that certain people are treated differently in the federal justice system. I do absolutely believe that. But I also believe that your friendship and relationship and history with Donald Trump weighed more heavily than him just wanting to make sure that justice was done by a person in the justice system, that you were treated so unfairly. There are thousands of people treated unfairly daily. How your number just happened to come up in the lottery, I'm guessing it was more than just luck, Roger, right?
I don't really feel like arguing with this Negro.
I'm sorry, what was that? Roger?
Yeah, so after you've seen that clip, it's kind of surprising that he's like, I guess he's upset and I guess he's talking to someone else.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to know? Do you want to hear what his excuse was for like why he said it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or he claims that it was one of the sound people from the radio show who said it into the mic, and it sounded like he said it. That was his excuse, unironically. Like not even someone else, like not even someone in his room, like on his mic. Even though we can all clearly see it was him that said it, you can tell by the fucking mic quality that it's him saying it, and you can hear his voice. It's obviously him. But yeah, so he tries to blame the radio show on it.
Yeah.
Why do old white men, David? Why do they say the word Negro instead of just like saying a racial slur? You know what I mean? Why do they say that? I don't understand.
Man, it's from his past. It used to be socially acceptable to call black people Negroes.
I guess.
He'd just go out through his day, whistling, walking down the street. What's up, my fellow Negro?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to me like the way that he reacted to getting caught saying it seemed like he didn't plan on getting caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I guess he wanted to I guess he forgot to take off. Put push the talk on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like I'm just trying to imagine like if I'm Roger Stone and I'm racist, right, and I want to say the N-word, I'm like talking on the mic. If I don't expect that they can hear me, why would I say Negro instead of just saying a full racial slur like the hard R N-word or something? Why even say Negro?
Don't know.
It's almost like he expected to get caught.
I think it's one of those things where how Joe Biden goes off sometimes and he says some stupid ass shit. It's like he meant to say that in his head. I feel like, and he just did I just say that out
when
loud?
When you're 80, shit like that just falls out, man.
Yeah, you can't tell whether you're thinking or saying stuff out loud when you get that old.
For real, man. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Do
you think anything's gonna come of this? I mean, it's not like he can be punished.
No,
I mean, it's just hilarious.
This is expected, to be honest with you.
It's so absurd.
One thing that I get mad about is dude, I wish conservatives, fucking white nationalists, just fucking say you hate black people. Just fucking say it.
Yeah.
It's an easier conversation.
It's not only an easier conversation, but obviously judging by the state of the world, there's plenty of you out there. Like, you're going to have plenty of friends. You don't need to hide anymore. Like, you have allies, come out of hiding, man. I don't like having to try to convince other people that are supposed to be on my side and try to convince them that these people are racist. It's like, what do you want me to show you a fucking text message where he admits oh yes, I am racist. I'm a white supremacist. I hate black people. Like, a lot of libs don't understand that people aren't just going to come out and be like, yes, I'm racist. I don't like black people. You have to infer the opinions about black people based on their statements. You know what I mean? And I mean, obviously this guy's racist. Is anyone surprised? Hands up.
No.
Knowing this is an audio medium, so you can't see me, but my hands are both down.
Yeah, but another racist who forgot to hide his power level, Tucker Carlson's writer, exposed for being a racist. I mean, no one's surprised yet again.
No. Exactly. Did you read the messages that he got caught on?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna read them. I mean, it's reprehensible. I literally can't read it. I'll get
sorry,
canceled,
we can't read this live.
Yeah, No, it's pretty bad. I mean, like it's not just your boilerplate like 1350 shit. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
I think it's funny.
But again, both my hands are down.
Yeah.
No one is surprised about this, and if you are, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, and we asked the question again: is something going to come from his writer being an exposed racist at this point instead of a closeted racist? No. I
No.
believe he's on vacation.
Yeah, and Tucker Carlson himself defended the writer, saying like, "Oh no, I know this guy. He's my
I
friend."
mean, of
Like,
course he had to defend the writer because this
yeah,
guy writes for him. You know.
exactly. Yeah, I
Fuck.
don't get it.
How do they
Racist,
find
man.
these people? Do these people go to them, or do you think,
They
it's like,
probably
oh,
grew up
dude.
together or something.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they
so
went to
yeah, for
Harvard
sure.
together. Yeah, they met in the like the racist fucking book club that they had at Harvard.
Yeah. Have you seen what his writer looks like?
No.
He's like some he's like the classic basement dwelling nerd.
Oh my god. I have
Like
this image in
they're
my
like
mind.
they're like yeah, you know what, you can't like we probably can't show you on camera, but you can write. Can you write for us?
Damn, no body shaming here, but like, why do they all look like that?
Because bro, the white race is supreme.
Yeah, true actually.
Fuck.
Hell yeah. But
Mhm.
anyway, I'm gonna get rid of these racist people, man. I know some crazy like political shit has been happening, which I
Oh
guess
my
this does
god,
have to
man.
do with racism too. But when it comes to fucking political violence, I don't
Mm.
think anything is possibly worse than like Nazi like secret fucking police level shit where people are just
Oh, the
pulling up
Gestapo.
in black uniforms, just putting people into cars and you never see them again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, recently we've introduced the Gestapo onto Portland. We've
yes.
released the hounds.
Exactly, man. And I'm very concerned, but also I have some theories about it. And like, I don't know. Why don't you
Yeah,
just lay it
let's
out for the listeners what
yeah,
happened exactly?
let's cover, yeah, but we're of course talking about the Portland kidnappings.
Yeah.
There is a bunch of federal agents showing up to Portland and kidnapping these violent anarchists.
Yeah, quote
And
unquote anarchist, triple
yeah,
parentheses.
yeah, and they are picking them up, arresting them, saying like they're dead silent, saying nothing, like going out of their way to hide their identities,
Yeah.
and they're pulling these people into unmarked vehicles and just speeding off, and
Just
like.
driving away.
I remember one clip, the guy was like, "If you try to follow us, we will shoot at you." It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's terrifying, man. And like, I don't know, you could put like some fucking acid jazz over the back, like over the video that you're talking about, and it would literally be like a scene from a fucking cyberpunk movie. Like
Yeah,
it's
for real.
absolutely insane. Like they roll up in a minivan, full on fucking
Yeah,
like military gear, and just kidnap a person in broad. Well, it's nighttime, but in broad street light.
yeah, for real. I mean, fascism, this is, I thought fascism in America would start with a leftist, like, killing cops or something like that, or, like, leftists being violent. But no, dude, the fascism just going to roll out, Gestapo first, apparently.
Yeah, they're not even willing to wait for like leftists to gain a little bit of power so that they can like justify crushing it. They're just gonna go ahead and preemptive strike. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you seen some of the stuff that Richard Wolff, like, saying, like, there was like an article that was like the reasons why we had they unleashed the Gestapo, and a lot of like the reasons was like there was just violent graffiti or something like that.
Right, yeah, yeah. Because the people have been, putting graffiti on monuments and knocking down statues and destroying like historic buildings and stuff. And
Hmm.
like this is the justification that Trump uses to mobilize secret police. He also enacted a law or like an executive order, I think,
Hmm.
question mark on this one. But I know that this is true. Anyone who like vandalizes a federal like monument will be imprisoned for a 10-year sentence, like just for destroying property. 10 years, just as a targeted way to imprison fucking leftists, like
Hmm.
anarchists, quote unquote, just for their political activism, which is
Hmm.
fucking insane. And yeah, I
And
mean, they'll kidnap you, they'll arrest you, they'll put you in prison for 10 years, and you'll never see the light of day again.
and the Gestapo, the Portland mayor, has even gone against, and the governor of Oregon, I believe, they've gone against like these Richard Wolff and the Scapo being in their cities. Like, you know, we see what's happening, and like, you know, they're not for it. They don't even want them there. But, you know, Trump is like, gotta send the Gestapo, gotta fucking capture those political dissenters.
So like the actual government officials didn't even like
They don't even
work
want
with the
them
government.
there. Yeah, they don't even want
Really?
them there. Yeah, and the sheriff,
Holy
and, you know,
shit.
like the police union has taken the obviously Trump's side on
Oh
this
yeah,
issue. So like,
of course.
you know, when it's because they wanted their police to help citizens and to stop these, like, you know, federal agents from doing shit, and they're like, no.
Oh yeah, I saw that actually because he asked. I think I heard this on the radio or something. He asked like if the police would stand with the protesters, and they all said no, they wouldn't.
Yeah, fuck the police, a cab.
Yeah. Yeah, for real, man. I don't know. It's kind of weird how they always side with the wrong people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, interesting. But not surprised yet again.
Yep.
And since this has happened, you know, obviously the people are outraged. So they set a police association office on fire, which is like at the police union's headquarters. And they set it on fire at night, last night, I believe.
how do you feel about this burning this down? I want
mean-
your raw opinion on it.
I mean, I honestly,
In response to this
I mean-
kidnapping shit.
I mean, this is like, you know, they should have saw this coming. Like,
Yeah.
their own police is against them, protectors of their community, or so they thought. Yeah,
Right.
Siding against federal agents, aka Trump's Gestapo,
Right.
and like they should have saw this coming.
100%. I agree. And like I know there's been some chatter like on Reddit, on our Discord even, like people saying things like, isn't this what the Second Amendment is for? You know what I mean? Like if you see someone coming up and, you know, taking someone hostage in an unmarked vehicle, like dressed in, you know, military gear, isn't this what the Second Amendment is for?
Yeah, for
implying
real.
basically that we should kill them. And like when it comes to burning down this the offices, I actually think like that is one of the least things you can do. Like this kind of violence
And I
like
feel like it's
leads
more
to
effective.
yes, it is. And like this, but it would not surprise me if we do see some like acts of random stochastic violence against police officers. And like I would probably be the person to say, like it's their fault, and that I don't know if I would say they deserve it in the sense that like I think cops all want to get executed in the streets, but like they deserve it in the sense that they let their actions is what's leading to this retaliatory violence. You know what I mean? Because they could just not do what they're doing, and none of this would happen. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you know, the police officers, they just want to enforce the rule or the citizens and reign on these cities instead of, you know, actually being protectors of the community. You know, stand up citizens. You know, that's how I thought I used to perceive the police. You know, it's like, oh, this is like, you know, the most pristine citizens in our communities, right? Or, you know, they're supposed to be. But they're
People
not.
willing to self-sacrifice to protect us. You know.
Yeah, but they're not.
You know where I learned that? Paw Patrol. Fucking love
Fuck.
Paw Patrol, man.
Got canceled, dude.
Hell yeah.
It's in this climate, in this environment, Paw Patrol will never survive.
No, it won't. Actually, though, that's really funny to me that Paw Patrol like got canceled before the murderers who killed Breonna Taylor got arrested. Isn't that fucking wild, the world that we live in, man?
And recently, I think we also just found out that she was still alive too, after she
Really?
got shot.
I didn't hear this. That's
Yeah,
horrific.
So she was, suffering for 20 minutes before she died, I believe.
Jesus Christ.
And they
Wow.
the police don't care.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, on that happy note.
Yeah. So on a good note though, Trump is down in the polls, and he simply won't accept it. He's calling these polls fake. He's once again fake news. These polls aren't real. Yeah.
It's funny.
Communist
I
Joe
mean, like,
Biden isn't winning right now.
he should really just kind of take the win on this one, in my opinion, too, because he's really not that far down. And I feel like if he would just have a little bit of fucking self-analysis and be like, yeah, I admit it, my polls are down right now because coronavirus, like, we fucked that shit up, but, you know, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to be better for the American people. he could literally win all 50 states.
No, bro.
But
Because if
but
he
instead,
apologizes, he's accepting that he did something wrong, and he will never do that. And
no.
he says to himself, he's like, I just hope Corona just kind of disappears.
Dude, he keeps saying that. He said it so many times. He said it just this morning on a fucking interview, right? He was saying like he was saying, "Oh, Corona someday is just gonna disappear," and the host, of course, is like, oh, "That's crazy. Have you seen? Everyone's dying. The numbers are rising."
Are you dumb?
Yeah, and Trump's like, "Well, someday I'll be right." It's
I
like, okay,
mean,
yeah, after the heat death
someday.
of the fucking universe, there's gonna be no coronavirus.
Yeah, when
Congrats, you're correct.
coronavirus fucking wipes out humanity.
Yeah,
Finally, after it's done mutating in the United States and we've created the super
yeah.
corona. Which apparently they're saying, now it fucks with your brain and shit. So honestly, it makes sense that we have these like anti-maskers, being stupid as shit because they're suffering from severe brain damage.
Yeah, and like speaking of that too, like I just this morning heard that an Israeli doctor was reinfected with corona after 3 months. Like he got it 3 months ago, and then just now he was diagnosed with it again, meaning that he was able to catch the disease a second time, even after catching it a first time. Because generally people think oh, just like the flu, when I catch it the first time, in the future I'm either gonna not get it or it's gonna be much weaker. And so in this case with this Israeli doctor, he got it again. I'm not 100% sure about the details of the case. I don't know if he's very like sick or if it's just a mild version of what he had before. But just the fact that you can get reinfected by it means that this is probably never going to go away. Like
Yeah, for
we're going to
sure.
have seasonal coronavirus now where like, instead of or people are going to die to the flu just like they already do. And then on top of that, there's going to be even more deaths every year from coronavirus. And we're going to have to get a yearly fucking vaccine for a different strain of
Yeah,
coronavirus
bro.
basically every year
But
until eventually it kills us.
what I worry about is like how are they going to distribute this vaccine? Is it going to be free? Are we going to have to pay for this? Like, what's going to happen?
It has to be free. I mean, it literally has to be free. There's no other way that they can keep the numbers down. Like, I think that that's what the government's doing. Like, they don't want to invest a lot of money in preemptive like measures trying to prevent the spread. They would rather just wait until the vaccine comes out and then give it away for free.
I think it would be so funny if what they do is they send a relief and then they like, all right, we developed a vaccine, but you just had to give us like $100. No big deal, right? Your insurance will probably cover. So people are gonna have to use some of that corona relief money to spend on that vaccine. So it's like they give them the money, but just give us a little back.
Skim a little bit off the top.
Yeah.
Just for bureaucracy reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah,
Just
man.
like how 1 million people got sent corona checks.
Yeah.
Wonder where all that money went.
Yeah, I wonder. Oh yeah, all those dead people you mean? Yeah, I think you forgot to say the word dead, but God, I still can't believe that even happened. Yeah, and like not only that, but that was the only. Isn't it crazy that that's the only fucking thing they've done for us so far? Literally, still, even to this day, 7 months after the fucking outbreak started in this country, we've still only gotten one $1,000 payment, and most people didn't even get it. And also, dude, I don't know if you saw this post on Reddit of the South Korea like somebody came to the country of South Korea who was like an expat or something coming back, and the government sent him a 14-day care package with like cleaning supplies, masks, personal protective equipment, 14 days of food and water. And I'm not talking about like MREs. I'm talking about like actual shit that human beings eat, like real supplies that you would get from a grocery store. Sent it to him for free so that he could self quarantine, or he or she, I don't know who it is. But you know what I mean? Like seeing a government do something like that for their citizens just because they know they can and just to help them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
God, it fucking hurts.
I don't understand like why people don't believe or like subscribe to the thought that the government can actually take care of us. But newsflash, the government can take care of you, but they just don't want to.
Exactly. This whole idea, this whole conservative idea of like, I hate socialism. What is socialism? Well, socialism is when the government does things. It's like, well, no, that's not socialism. We're fine doing that. Look at all these other places that do that. Don't you want free shit? You know what I mean? Or not free, but free to you. You're fucking
Yeah.
poor. You can't have this shit anyway. Like, you don't have health care. Why are you complaining that people want to give it to you for free? It's not going to cost you anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
People
We're
like
full of
just
masochists, man.
yeah.
They
People
love
like
pain.
yeah. They're like, I love that you can just be super poor, and I love that you can become a trillionaire in the United States. You know, it's like, why? Why do you love that?
Why?
Why? You love that people can suffer and be in poverty and literally fucking kill themselves because of how poor they are?
Yeah.
Some of these people
And it's never the billionaires saying that
yeah.
either. It's regular people saying that.
Really.
Yeah.
Who are poor as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because billionaires know it would be in bad taste for them to admit that. Like, oh yeah, I love my life exploiting people. It's like, obviously we all know they do, but they're never gonna say that. But a poor person will say it about them for some reason. It's this weird thing. I don't know. I talked about this in my video a little bit, but a lot of people just have this idea that, like, if I were a millionaire, I would self-sacrifice and I would be better. You know what I mean? But the point is that you're not better, so you're never gonna be you're never gonna be a millionaire because of that. Because you would be better, you're not gonna be that person because you're not willing to take advantage of other people. So, I don't know. Well, another news in presidential campaigns and fucking presidential happenings: Kanye West scheduling his first campaign event for his 2020 run in South Carolina. He is actually doing this, man.
Yes.
He's actually doing this. I saw some news that he dropped out, but I guess that was wrong. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I think he tweeted that he was dropping out
in South Carolina.
I thought he tweeted
Sunday.
that he wasn't actually running, but then I guess he changed his mind or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but
can he even what states can he even join at this point?
I don't know, dude, but
not many.
I want to talk about like Kanye as a candidate and like how could this, like I feel like this has been planned from like the beginning. Like when Kanye and Donald Trump like first met, they're like it was a plan. They're like, all right, listen, Kanye, I know you're hip with the liberals, like because it was so weird when like Kanye and Trump was like, yeah, we're friends by the way, very cool, Kanye,
right?
You know. And then now, at the end of Trump's career term, Kanye decides to run. And also, didn't he receive like a shit ton of money from like Trump, Trump administration? Did he not?
I'm not sure. Maybe for like one of his businesses or something. Probably. I mean, I know he owns like a clothing brand, so possible. I mean, do you seriously want to consider him as a real candidate though? Like, you really think that this is actually like a planned thing, or do you think he just has like a mental illness and is like manic right now?
I mean,
or I don't know if that's the socially acceptable word anymore, but whatever.
I mean, I think it's good advertisement. We're talking about it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
but he's Kanye motherfucking West. Does he need advertisement?
I mean, no, but like it doesn't help to be talked about like constantly. It helps to be talked about, and like we're talking about him. Everyone else is talking about him. I mean,
fair enough, yeah. And I mean, I guess if he doesn't take it seriously, like if he actually isn't running and like, I mean, what does it cost him to do these campaign events just to drum up like fucking news about him? Actually, though, at the end of the day, like he's just paying money for this campaign event in return for advertising. Yeah. So I guess like really, it's not that crazy, even if he's not really running,
Yeah, it's still good. Like people are talking about him. He knows he's not gonna win. He knows that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think it's even like possible. Is he running under the Republican ticket or
independent?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't even think he can like he can't even run, right? Because like the Republicans wouldn't allow him to run.
Oh, yeah, not under their party affiliation.
Right, exactly. So yeah, so independent, yeah, no way. It's interesting though because we were talking about this when he first announced his run, like the fact that his presence might actually pull conservative black voters away from Biden. Like, do you think that there's any potential that Trump knows that? Because I think that Kanye did say that he didn't support Trump anymore, right? So
I don't know. I feel like the reason why he wouldn't pull those voters. Wait, you said conservative black voters from Biden?
Yeah, people who are voting for Biden.
The reason why I don't think that they'll go vote for Kanye, because I feel like those people are like, oh, I fucking hate rap and I hate this new funky music. You know what I mean? Like, Like those like
That's actually a good
conservatives for
point.
some reason they're like, I fucking hate rap. It's not real
Yeah, it's like the
music.
Jesse Lee Peterson
Yeah.
conservatives. Yeah,
Yeah, but like
the Uncle
classical
Toms.
music, oh
Right.
yes, music from the white
Western culture.
gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they fucking allowed us to even hear. You should be thankful that you've fucking been blessed with Beethoven.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're actually right about that. I think that you could see people like Nick Cannon voting for Kanye, like, black supremacists, like black Israelites,
Mhm.
voting for him or whatever, but which we will talk about later. But I think you're actually right about like those conservative traditionalist blacks, like probably actually don't like him because he's a very like progressive, artist or whatever, or he was at one point. He's not really anymore, but I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think that
Mm.
he's really going to have a big effect on anything at all.
Yeah.
I think people are
Um.
blowing it out of proportion a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, but I mean, I feel like it's gonna pull some people.
Yeah,
Still.
some, but will it pull more Trump supporters or more Biden supporters? I think more Biden, but
I mean, who
who knows
knows?
these days?
Who knows? Who fucking knows? But I know it's Joe Biden's doing well. He's just sitting in his basement waiting for him to declare mayor. I mean, not mayor, fucking president. And yeah, he's just chilling right now, frankly. But I want to talk about something that the government recently started doing for its people. Yet again, they started killing. There's still federal executions are back and running again.
Like in full swing. Because this is exactly what everyone's thinking right now is, what we are missing? More federal executions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the first one in 17 years, right? Is
Mhm.
that true, or am I just pulling
Yeah.
that out of my
Yeah.
ass?
I think it's that sounds about right.
Yeah, like that's crazy, man. 17 full years without the U.S. executing someone.
Yeah, and it's funny. We've unleashed the Gestapo, and then now,
Yeah,
we have federal executions back up again.
yeah, strange coincidence,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Did you see the
Interesting.
guy that was executed, like why he was, or who he was and everything
Go
that
ahead and
happened?
explain that though.
I forget his name, but
Hmm.
the first guy that was executed, the guy who was the first execution in 17 years, was a Nazi white supremacist, who I think stabbed to death like someone and killed another person. I don't know. He murdered people and wasn't definitely a Nazi.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm not shedding a tear for his death,
Oh fuck no.
but
Yeah. Fuck Nazis.
but here's the thing. I got into some heated arguments, and I want to hear your opinion on it.
Okay,
Okay.
let's hear it.
Because I am against the death penalty. And it's not some kind of weird like moral lib thing, you know what I mean? I'm against it for one reason and one reason only. I don't think that there is a responsible enough governing body to hand out the death penalty only to people who deserve it in every case. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
so
I
what
mean,
I
there's plenty
so
of
it,
people who've died who
right.
were completely innocent.
Exactly. And people would say people who are in favor of the death penalty agree with that. They'd be like, "I totally agree. We need to do better. We need to make it more fair and make sure that we're being careful about how we use the death penalty." But in my opinion, I don't think that there is a way to make it fair. I don't think that there will ever be a way in this country to make it fair just because of the way our culture is, the way that our country works, the way our government works.
Yeah,
I
for
don't think
real.
it's possible to not have mistakes happen. And therefore, because there's a possibility that some innocent person will die, I think it's better for us to just imprison these people. If we have to
And
imprison
we
them for
know
life,
it
it's what it
happens.
is.
Yeah, and we know it
Yes,
fucking happens. And
exactly.
since we know who is committing the crime, poor people, and majority black people are poor people, so we're basically sending our allies to the slaughter.
Exactly. And you, as Marxists, as materialists, it's important for us to remember our fucking roots and remember, why we believe what we believe. If we truly are Marxists and we think, poor people make decisions because of their material circumstances, then do we really want to set a standard of putting people to death for committing crimes that we all agree is because that they're in shitty circumstances? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Barring things like mental illness, which is a whole separate problem. Because people like to pretend that a lot of crimes that get committed are just crazy people and people with mental illnesses, but that's not true. People commit crimes because out of necessity, they commit it, out of desperation. There's a lot of reasons people commit crimes, but it's not like it's just crazy people running around killing people. These are normal people like you and me who, for whatever reason, because of their circumstances, are committing these crimes. And I don't want to be the one killing them. I would rather try to make it where those people don't become criminals in the first place. And I think it's our
Yeah.
responsibility to do that.
Yeah, and how could we like allow our prison system, which we already know is corrupt? We have private, for-profit prisons, and we're allowing them to make this decision to even like take someone's life. Yeah, we have fucking slavery still alive in our prison systems today.
Yep. Exactly. And I want to like preemptively defend this too, because I feel like a lot of conservatives don't understand this difference, and a lot of liberals probably don't either. Like because you hear us on this show constantly talking. I mean, I don't want to use the word glorifying, but we discuss uses of violence in response to things like fascism. And you might hear me say things like violence against fascism is self-defense in every case, even if it's preemptive. You might hear me say something like that, which is a very radical position, by the way, that a lot of people don't agree with. So then a liberal might ask me, well, what's the difference between that and the death penalty? Well, there is a big difference, because when you use the death penalty, the way that people are decided to be executed is by subjective laws that are, created by people, that can be created for the sole purpose of executing people. And we know that has happened in the past. Black people have been disproportionately affected by the death penalty, even though there are way less black people in the United States than there are white people. And also, like, so when you use political violence to defend yourself against something like fascism, it's not even comparable to using the death penalty. It's not the same thing at all. Because when you're killing a fascist that's trying to kill you, it's self-defense. When you're executing someone because you want to execute them, I don't understand like
Yeah,
how those things are
it's literally
related.
slaughter. Like you're just like,
Exactly.
they came and defend themselves. They're locked up in cells, and they're like, all right, it's your time. And then they
Exactly.
fucking, they take the sledgehammer to the skull.
Right, exactly. And this applies to fascists as well. If we capture a Nazi and they're no threat to society, they're not actively carrying out anything, they're not scheming, then what right do we have to execute them? They're not a threat to society, and I feel like we have a moral obligation to just arrest them and imprison them rather than kill them. Even if they deserve it. Because again, we don't know if every person we do it to is going to deserve it, and therefore we shouldn't kill anyone, because we don't know. It's impossible to know, and we have the resources to imprison them, so we should just do that instead. And also, the goal ultimately should be to release them from prison. That should be the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like to point out these extreme cases where they're like, oh, this person killed like 100 people. There's no way that we could ever get him back in society. It's like, I know, my heart breaks for that guy, and maybe it's true he'll never return to society, but that doesn't mean he deserves to die. He can just be in prison. No big deal.
Forever. But
Exactly.
I think the reason why also people support the death penalty is because, like, well, I don't want to pay for that person to be alive. I don't want to feed that person. It's like I don't know why, like, people like dehumanize prisoners.
Yeah.
It's like they're once you've gone into the prison, you're no longer human, and people no longer care about you.
Yeah, even a mild thing like paying for your meals becomes like unconscionable. Like, no, of course I don't want to pay for these fucking criminals to eat food. What are they? Human beings? Like, come on.
Fuck them.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and not only that, David, but it's not true that it's more expensive. It's more expensive to execute someone than it is to hold them in prison for life until they die, by the way.
Well, I didn't say it was more expensive. I said they don't want to keep the pay to keep them alive. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm
I
saying is
guess,
when they execute them, it costs more for the government than it does to just imprison them for their entire life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because of the appeals process and because of all the legal things that go
Got
on
a lot
around
of paperwork
death penalty.
to put this person down legally.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah.
But,
it's good.
at the end of the day, it costs more.
Yeah, and I think living and like having to live with what you've done is way worse than just like, all right, it's time to kill you, because some of these people, like, they want death by cop, they want to die because they don't have the will to kill themselves. And
They want to be martyred for their cause, and why give that to them? I don't understand.
Yep. Fuck prison systems, bad. Trump, bad.
True. All my homies hate prisons.
For real. Release our homies.
Exactly.
But
we were just talking before this podcast, I think, like one form of praxis I think that people could actually do that a lot of libs would consider bad and violent is actually breaking people out of prison. I've seen a lot of things recently. The Portland kidnappings really got me thinking, like, what if I just got kidnapped by the police, like, and I had no way of like getting out, and I was actually just imprisoned and couldn't defend myself? How terrifying that must be. What if we broke those people out?
yeah, I mean, even the mayor doesn't agree with what's going on. So like,
Yeah.
the governor
Yeah.
as well.
When
I
the
think,
only person that agrees with it is the fucking fascist president and his cronies, like, at what point is it morally okay to just fucking break them out?
yeah. So I believe that freedom for these people will surely come. It's
So
the people who run this country, no, not these politicians. All right, I feel like we just gotta show that shit, and hopefully, we have some political allies as well along the way, right? That'll make it
I think we do.
a lot easier.
I think we do. It's important that we remember that. Even in times where we're getting fucking kidnapped off the street, we have to remember why we're doing this. Because we care and they don't. We're better than them.
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
with that, I want to talk about the next thing I want to talk about is there's an application that you might have heard of. It's kind of blowing up these days, and it started a lot of cringy shit. But I feel like it's something we need to talk about. The United States, Donald Trump, he wants to ban TikTok. If you haven't heard of TikTok, it is a
Everyone's heard of TikTok, David.
I mean, for the people who haven't, for my brothers in the back, TikTok is like what would you even say? It's kind of like a social media in which there's just like a lot of kids dancing. Sometimes they like tell jokes over music. But
it's like it's just short like videos basically.
A lot of kids
where
use it,
people
basically.
just do skits. Yeah.
And I mean adults use it too, but primarily kids.
A lot of kids. Yeah.
And they Donald Trump wants to ban TikTok because there's a lot of privacy, and TikTok is they're getting your data and they're sending it to China, and people don't like that, and they're like, let's fucking ban it.
I mean, let's just be honest. Let's just lay it on the table. He wants to ban it because it's a Chinese app. I mean, it's really that simple. Like it's a popular app made by a Chinese company. Like that's it.
Yeah, and like people are so worried about like, oh, I don't want China to have my data, but they're perfectly fine, I guess, with Google and Apple doing it.
Yeah, and before people are like, that's a false dichotomy. It's like, no, these people are literally actively participating in this shit, giving away their data like fucking ice cream to a toddler, and then pretending like they're super
so worried
with
about their data now.
Yeah,
yeah, like
exactly.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, it's not that I'm not
sudden.
saying that privacy is not something we should have. I agree that privacy should be better in this country and in the world, period. But these people don't really care about that. It's a fucking imagined villain that they just made up in their mind. It's a red fucking herring. They don't give a shit about privacy at all.
Only until
but it has been really
it
funny.
benefits them.
Yes,
and
exactly.
They wanna, fuck with China, I guess, in some way.
I really ask myself every day, like, why China? What is it about China? Why are these people so obsessed? Why not like Vietnam or fucking Malaysia or something like that?
They're the other superpower, and they are somewhat our equals.
Yeah, I guess people fear them, right? Like they wonder. Yeah. They fear that they'll take over our position as like the world leader.
Yeah, and people already. I feel like we forget this because we surround ourselves by a lot of socialist people, right? People who are really far left. Communist, the word communist, the word socialist. These are words that scare people. These are words that people fear because they lack understanding of these words, and like. It's everyday people. Like you could ask, like if you say communist to anyone out in public, they'll probably look at you with like fear, fear, confusion, like you just said that you were a Nazi.
Yeah, exactly.
These words have been muddled by the alt-right and by people who don't know anything about these words. And soon we're gonna release the leftist manifesto, the left in the South manifesto. But that's for another episode.
Yeah, clarifying exactly what the only good ideology is, and we will be practicing extreme purity politics. Anyone who does not conform to our ideology will die instantly.
Over.
Jokes. Unless,
yeah, for real. And God, yeah. But what do you think about banning TikTok? I mean,
it's really stupid. I mean, like,
yeah,
I think that we should hold companies of all kind, foreign or domestic, to certain standards for privacy. But yeah, like I think that pretending like legislators care about our privacy is fucking laughable. And I think it's really a racist targeted ban versus this app. And I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not a fucking 15-year-old girl, so I don't use TikTok. I mean, sometimes I look up TikTok thick compilations on YouTube, but beyond that, I really don't give a fuck about the site. So like, if they banned it tomorrow, it would not change my life. But it's really fucking stupid, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's funny because there's I'm surprised that gamers like Ninja have even come out to say, yeah, I want to ban TikTok, fuck China, and like saying like tweeting shit, stuff like that out. When it's surprising because bunch of gamers play games like League of Legends, Valorant. They play
all owned by Chinese companies.
Yeah.
You fucking morons.
And you don't think they're fucking collecting your data? You're a fucking idiot. So like, what is the difference between a TikTok?
Listen, if this is you right now, you are actually a fucking idiot.
Yeah. So if you truly believe in like TikTok and you don't want China to gather your data, stop fucking playing these games right now.
Seriously, it's actually insane. God, I don't know why it gets me so mad. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I love playing Valorant. Fuck you.
Yeah, same.
China can have my
data.
I
don't know. It's this weird thing where like we're forced to like attack a person for something that we kind of ostensibly agree with, like, because we both agree privacy good. It's just that these people are not talking about that. It's a fucking joke. It's fake news, dude. They actually don't care. I don't know. I think the best thing about this whole TikTok banning shit, like you were talking about with Ninja, is just this is basically a litmus test for like how stupid politically is this person that I like on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, if they come out and they're like, yeah, fuck TikTok, ban that shit, Chinese fucking app, I'm like, all right, so you're actually a fucking moron. Like, I like that it helps me figure out how stupid some people are on the internet.
Yeah, it's like, so Ninja's actually fucking dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Ninja has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, but I disagree with it, and I think people are misled, and I don't know. I guess they're clueless as to what they're doing.
If anyone could answer me, just at the end of the day, like, I want to have an honest conversation with someone who thinks this about TikTok. I know I kind of shit on you before, so I'm sorry, but I just want to ask you, like, why China? I seriously want to ask you, like, if it's the fear thing, I want you to admit it to me, basically. But if it's something else, I genuinely want to know. Like, I really don't know what this obsession is about. So I'm curious to hear from someone, hopefully.
Yeah. At the Let's Podcast on Twitter.
True.
But yeah, I think but yeah, after where else should we go with this podcast? I think the next place we're going, right, is we've alluded to it a couple minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago, but Nick Cannon and Black QAnon. So I don't know much about this topic. So Caleb, why don't you educate me?
Okay, so Nick Cannon basically did this fucking really dumb move where he admitted the fact that he's a black nationalist that hates Jews. And this has been really eye-opening for me, David. I don't know if you knew this, like, as a suburban white guy myself.
Yeah.
The people I talk to in general are leftists and socialists, but especially the people of color I talk to. Every black person I know in real life and online is either a socialist or at the very least like a social democrat lib. You know what I mean? I've never actually in real life met a black person with these kind of beliefs, but apparently it's very, I don't want to say very common, but it's a common sect among black people. Like, it's a minority of black people that have apparently decided, according to the teachings of this of the Nation of Islam led by this guy called Louis Farrakhan, like, they've all decided that they're God's chosen people, and like black people are like supposed to return to their holy land, And basically, like, if you're familiar with the Jew argument of like being a Zionist and wanting to go and take Israel and murder all the dirty Arabs that live there, it's basically the same thing, but for black people. And Nick Cannon kind of accidentally said all the quiet stuff out loud on a live show and got canceled on Twitter. And I decided to, for some reason, get into arguments with people about it and learned that there are a lot of black supremacists on Twitter, David. My phone has been vibrating on a constant basis
Yeah.
for basically the past week from all these like black Zionists.
Dude, what are
just
you
shitting on me
supposed
on
to
Twitter.
do, bro? You're a white leftist.
Yeah.
You can't shit on black people.
Exactly. And then I'm like, I feel like I'm virtue signaling to all these fucking black people, but at the end of the day, I'm not. They're fucking dumb conservative
Yeah.
dumbasses. I would say the same thing to a white person with the stupid beliefs that they have. But it's so unlike, or like it's so unlike all the
Yeah.
previous conversations I've had with minorities, because just having these bigoted beliefs, it's just so untenable to me. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah,
Your entire people were the subjects of extreme racial tension and subjugation for generations. How can you have this belief?
I think what is the most important part to take from this Nick Cannon and Black QAnon shit is that white supremacists love this shit. They actually support this shit. And you have to realize why white nationalists support this shit. People like Donald Trump, people who fucking believe in white nationalism is because they want these people to go back to Africa. They fucking hate black people. They want black people out of the United States.
Exactly.
So that's why
These
they support
ethnostaters.
QAnon.
Exactly, yes. These ethnostaters, like, they're totally okay with this black supremacy thing. It's a convenient argument for them to tell black people, yeah, we agree. Hell yeah, go back and take the Holy Land. Get the fuck out of my country. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so blatantly transparent. And the fact that a lot of black people have, like, fallen for it is really fucking terrible and embarrassing. Like, because I feel like I don't know, we should be able to get these people, you know what I mean? Like, it being a black person in America, it should be so easy for socialists to convince you.
It's like
the
QAnon thing. It's like they were almost there, like they were almost there, but then they saw this really radical shit and they're like, oh yeah.
It's the perfect propaganda because it plays on all the realities that you face in life. They're like, yeah, you're trodden down. You know, you're a black person facing all these racial prejudices in America, blah 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 blah, all this stuff that's true. And then at the very end, they're like, well, why don't we
have to connect to our roots?
Do this exactly? Like, and then that's where the red pill drops in, bro. And like, it works so well because all the stuff they say in the beginning is true, and everyone has experienced it. You know, every black person knows what racism is and feels it in their life, and then they prescribe this thing that's wrong. And some people fall for it. It fucking works, man.
And like, if you truly believe in like lifting up black people, minorities, like you have to also realize, why do white nationalists support this? Why do known white nationalists support black QAnon? Like, why? And you have to realize maybe it's not good.
Does that not like tickle you a little bit? You're like, that's strange. You know, these white people, they love it. It's the same with Zionism. Like, when white people love to pretend like they love Jews and they agree with Israel using force to clear out the fucking Palestinians. At the end of the day, it's just thinly veiled racism against fucking Arabs. It's the same exact thing with the black nationalism shit. Like, they love it because it's convenient for them. And I don't know. It's weird. But I mean, I don't know. Well, how do you feel? Have you ever met someone like this in real life, like a black nationalist or like a black supremacist?
No,
yeah,
never.
Me neither. I think it's pretty rare.
Only.
I think it's pretty rare. Like, I think on Twitter maybe there's probably a lot of people just because it's Twitter, but I don't think it's very common. I've never personally met someone like that, and I've talked to hundreds of black people in my life. I guess I've never specifically asked every black person I've met, like, do you believe in black nationalism? But I feel like I would kind of catch on to that.
Yeah. And with that, I think we should cover our last zany topic. So this might be a little old news to some people, but if you haven't heard yet of the Wayfair conspiracy, tell us a little about the Wayfair conspiracy.
Well, you see, I actually broke this story. Hold on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was thinking, you know, we had some big news coming out. I was like, David and I have been thinking about getting a studio.
Yeah.
So I was looking in Beverly Hills. I was looking at the Patreon account. I saw we had some money in there, and I was
Yeah.
like, we can just get a little place, a little pad where
Yeah.
David and I can just hang out and record. And I was looking at furniture for our new penthouse that we bought in Beverly Hills,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed that there were some cabinets with some weird names on them, some wacky, zany names on them.
Yeah, and they were awfully expensive as well.
Yes,
We were
awfully
looking at it.
expensive cabinets.
And we
We're
saw
talking-
exact cabinets for a way cheaper price
Yes,
on the same
exact-
site.
On the same exact site, the same cabinet, different name, way lower price. And then I noticed, I have a photographic memory. This looks like some kid shit. And so basically, people fucking found out that Wayfair's charging like 15 grand for shitty fucking cabinets and naming them after missing children. And like, it's not just a one-time thing either. There were like a dozen cabinets or fucking throw pillow. They had a throw pillow on there for like 12 grand. And they're trying to sit here and tell us, oh, it was a simple error. We just used the wrong picture. You're going to sit here and tell me that you named a throw pillow after a 12-year-old missing girl who went missing like a month ago. You named it after her and then charged $12K for it on accident? What the fuck is going on? When did you first hear about this, David?
I think I first heard about the Wayfair shit like a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago. But I didn't really like fully know about it until like probably a week ago. But I did some research as well. After Caleb has he uncovered the story, but I dove further than I made some I called some people up, called Rod Slasher on Twitter, and we really broke it down. And apparently what people are saying is that they're not selling kids on Wayfair, and what it actually is that some sellers on Wayfair mark up the price to extremely high prices when they're out of stock, so people don't buy it, and so they can keep their listing up on there instead of taking it down, right?
How convenient.
Yeah, and that's.
Well, how do you explain the names?
Yeah, I mean that's also weird. Like, what's with the weird names then? It's like, why do you think they're actually selling kids on the clear web?
Yeah, I mean, it would be fucking bold, right? Like, that's pretty bold.
I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's weird because like, let's say you buy this $12,000 pillow, right?
Yeah.
And like you're just like,
and you're not a pedophile.
You're just Mr. Beast, and you're like, I bought the world's most expensive pillow, and like he's like, wait, it comes with a kid. It's like you need to actually uncover it.
How did they deliver this kid? You
Yeah.
Like, do they just Amazon ship them in the cabinet?
Yeah, does the FedEx shipper is like, I hear a little screaming in there. Nothing. As they fucking chuck the package into the truck.
Exactly. I don't know. I do think that it's unlikely that they're selling kids, but I want to hear a real explanation, because it's weird that all their explanations seem to have holes in them. You know what I mean? Like, why would they not just be like 100% clear about it? Why do they have to wait so long to say anything? And I don't get it. Like, it's such a huge accusation. You think they would do everything they could to be like, no, obviously we're not selling kids. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is like, let me show you some proof. But they didn't do any of that.
But also some people who's like come out saying like, I'm not missing. I'm right here, because apparently like. So one of them who had their name on them, like, was on Twitter saying like, hey, fucking idiots, I'm not actually gone. Here I am. But these conspiracy theorists, they're like, oh, it goes a level deeper. She's in on it. Like, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows these days, dude? I mean,
seriously, like, we don't know.
Like, it is crazy that like we are even considering that this Wayfair conspiracy could even be fucking real.
Yeah.
I mean, but these days, you really don't know.
You really don't.
Don't know.
On God, no cap, on a stack, brother.
Like, I'm waiting. Like, oh God, you like we've spoken to God. We got some insider information. You're not ready for August.
No, you are not.
You are not ready for
Holy
August.
Shit. You mortals thought that this was hard for you. That's so funny to me.
You thought we were at the peak. Oh, it gets worse.
Hell yeah, man. And you know what's crazy? We're gonna know about this Wayfair shit for way before we know anything about what happened to Dr. Disrespect. And that's all I'll say.
And with that, I want to thank you for listening to another episode of the Left in the South podcast. And as always, Vsauce out. Goodbye.
Bye.